welcome to my tutorial on creating an automated, command block powered Minecraft transportation system. Each station is assigned a number. It can automatically route minecarts through it or into it, depending on what the rail stop number is. They are also equipped to send carts in the appropriate direction when they're leaving the station. So a few disclaimers here. First being that this is all done in creative mode, if that wasn't already obvious. The second being is that this is my third or fourth iteration, but it's probably not perfect yet, and if you have any suggestions to make it so, let me know in the comments. So, let's get started. First thing I'll do is give you a demonstration of what I mean by an automatic transport system. As you can see, we are in a rail stop. Kind of looks like a rail station. And we have a place to select your stop right over here. So let's do that. Let's select a stop. The other station, that's what it's called. And as we go up the stairs, our minecart should spawn, and we can get into it. And it will send us off in the right direction. And after some video editing magic, we are approaching the station, so we should go into the siding. And our rail cart will disappear. It will be transported somewhere fairly safe and out of the way. So let's try that again, and let's see if that works in the other way. Select our station, the other station, and we've selected a station, stop number 2. Let's get in the cart and see what happens. It sends us in the right direction. And once again, through the magic of editing, we are back at the other station, and it will do basically the same thing. There is a bug in this particular version that keeps that minecart there no matter if you have a stop, but the other one actually has that fixed. So, as you can see, a couple of minecart stations connected with some track, and let's start with the next step. Okay, let's start on the meat and potatoes of this tutorial. So there's a few key components that are involved in a rail cart system, and one of them is selecting the stop. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail on it because there's some tutorials that I'll link to that can describe better how to do this. And if you notice, there's 2 different ways to do that, at least that I've used. There's one that I prefer the best, that I use just about everywhere else, and then there's one I tried just for the sake of it. The one I prefer is the item frame style, where you select the stop on the item frame and you press the button and it selects the stop, and then the other one, which is the lined up buttons. Now there's a couple different ways to do that. There's the way that I do it, which I don't like anymore. I found a better way to do it, and I will be doing that way from now on. And it checks the strength of the signal and compares it against the next one, and if it's stronger, it doesn't allow it to, with a comparator, it doesn't allow it to power the command block. This is okay. This method is a lot better. It's a lot more compact, and it probably takes a little bit more in terms of resources, but I think it's better. I like it better, and it's easier to kind of enclose in something. So, won't go into too much detail on that, but I will link to a couple of tutorials on how to do that. So the next thing we'll cover is how to change the direction the rails go based off of the rail stop number of the rider. So let's give that a quick little demonstration to make that a little bit more clear. We're going to go ahead and set it now to the rail stop of the siding, so it should in theory go that way. So let's see. And yep, it did go that way. It switched for us. So let's go ahead and change that back to straight through and give it another go. And look at that, it changed for us, and now we're going to go straight through. So the way I accomplish that is by using 3 command blocks. And to give you a quick rundown, this sets it to the default position, which is straight through. This checks to see if the person has the appropriate rail stop. And if they do, if they're stopping here, then this one, as a chained command block, will switch it by placing air in the spot of here. This powers the powers the rails above and will allow it to switch. And if it's unpowered, it unswitches it, or in this case, switches it. So, quick look at what that command looks like. So, this will set it to the default, so unless they're going through, it will, unless they're going into the siding, the station, it will set it to go through. This one will check to see if in the specific range, which it can be anything that you want it to be. I choose to keep it in 3 because that seems to work best, with the appropriate rail stop. Now, this will check the scoreboard, and then the scoreboard entry of rail stop, whether it equals 1. And that's a maximum of 1 here, so you should set the minimum just in case. Or not just in case, because it makes sense, so that way it'll only match against a rail stop of 1 or whatever it happens to be. And then this one will set the block of air to switch it to that stop. So all of these past two, these two are chains. This one's conditional, this one is not conditional because it should always run. And as you can see, if I go ahead and select that as my stop, oops, it should remove that and should switch. It's important to remember that before you start this, you need to add a scoreboard score. I forget the technical term for it. You need to add that in so that way you can reference it. And I will include that command somewhere when I put this on YouTube. Okay, on to the next component of this system. And this one is the directional logic. Where do we go? Which direction do we go out of the stop based off of the rail stop number? So let's demonstrate that. So a lower rail stop should head in that direction in this instance, and a higher one should go in that one. And I've just set myself to a lower stop, so let's go ahead. Lower stop went in the right direction. And let's check the high stop. High stop should go in this direction, and it did. So let's take a look at how I do that. The first step is to detect if there's a player riding a minecart. And we do that with this command, and all of the commands that I use, by the way, will be put into some sort of document or into the description of just in some way. I'll figure it out. So then the next step after detecting a player in a minecart is to check to what stop it is. So if it's a higher stop or a lower stop, it'll determine which direction it needs to go. And from that, it will power the rail with a torch. And in this case, it puts it right here, I believe. And then it will set some speed on the cart with this command. So the powered rail will invoke its own speed. It'll amplify the speed, but a little bit of speed to start off the cart is great. And then the last thing that happens on a time delay is the resetting of the powered rail. So this will reset it so that there's no power going to the rail, hopefully after you've already left the station. And it does that just so that when you get in the cart, it doesn't move on you. So there you have it.